So one more neighborhood has weighed in on the stadium in downtown Providence, and it's not a thumbs up. It's a big thumbs down for the people in Fox Point, and their representatives will be here tonight to talk about their perspective on the proposal that may be headed nowhere. The Paw Sox in downtown Providence. Good evening. Glad to have you aboard. Thanks for watching My State of Mind, now weeknights 7:30 and 11:30, and of course midnight on Fox Providence. Let us go to the rundown because we're very, very busy tonight. Did you hear about this story? Did you hear about? Okay, here's the headline. Really? Police investigating threat to burn the mayor's house down. Burning down the house, and that's really kind of the theme. Here's Eyewitness News' account of the story, kind of sets the scene.
You cannot be threatening an elected official and his family. In this case, that's what happened.
Providence Public Safety Commissioner Stephen Perry talking with Eyewitness News hours after learning of the threatening posts, who the commissioner identifies as being written by relatives of city firefighters. The specific language in the threats isn't being released, but they come as the dispute continues between the mayor and the city's firefighters over the restructuring of work hours. We do know of at least one threat to burn down Mayor Jorge Elorza's house.
It's a felony to threaten an elected official, and so we're going to get to the bottom of it, and if there is a violation of the law, we will aggressively pursue criminal prosecution.
Yeah, these Facebook posts by family members are, nonsensical bloviating, with hashtags burn down the house. It's you look at it and you say, oh, that's nasty. I don't know that you look at them and say, oh, that's an immediate threat. But any threat to a public official is a felony and has to be handled with a level of seriousness. And now the union head, Paul Dowdy, who was here last night, and we didn't mention it because I didn't know anything about this story last night until late last night, is trying to mitigate the damage.
Facebook threats can be very, very serious, so I don't know if it's overblown. I'm not certain of the context, but it's nothing that the Providence firefighters will stand for. Imperial Security has been retained, and they will be taking up a position near the mayor's house and keeping watch on him so that he feels safe and he can try to run the city.
Kind of a clumsy reaction by Paul Dowdy in a way to say, look, we have nothing to do with this, we being the union members specifically, unless you tie family members to the responsibility for union members, and then the union does have a responsibility for this, at least indirectly. I understand what he's trying to do here. He's trying to mitigate the damage by saying, look, we'll hire from our union dues, we'll hire security. And it's too bad, because while these threats cannot not be taken seriously, right, it's a bunch of keyboard cowards, Keyboard courage, keyboard cowards, same thing. Typing away the Facebook, social, digital environment where people lose their minds. And these aren't kids. These are adults, okay? Functional idiots, frankly, that are doing this and now put the union in a jam. And it's too bad because as we talked last night on the show, the union is leading the arbitration scoreboard over the city by like 20-0.
This contract, let's say he doesn't like any part of it. He can renegotiate the entire thing in 2017. So why not wait instead of risk all this money and the future of the city on what's really a fool's errand? He's not going to succeed. I can't imagine anyone except him and his inner circle, which I think is a lot of yes people going, oh yeah, man, a great idea, think they're going to win. They're the only ones that think they're going to win.
The people who are responsible for these Facebook posts ought to own up, apologize, and hope to mitigate their prosecutorial damage. In the meantime, what Mayor Elorza cannot get away from is that he has mishandled this arbitration thing with the firefighters to the point where it could cost the city way more than he thinks he was going to save. Stay tuned on that. Good ruling from Judge Silverstein today. This is a relief for those of us who want answers on 38 Studios. The headline on WPRI.com tells us no redactions. Tim White, of course, is all over this story.
Late Monday, 2 motions were filed seeking to keep certain information from the 38 Studios case under wraps. One of the objections from Wells Fargo, which is being sued by the state. Wells Fargo asking to redact or black out 215 words from the tens of thousands of pages on the verge of being made public. They say they are all names, including of clients unrelated to 38 Studios.
We don't think the public has any right to this particular information because it has nothing to do with this case.
The state pushed back, saying these names are already public elsewhere, including in financial filings with the government.
Ask the court to grant a protective order in a case of such strong public interest as this on the basis that the information may or may not be public information already. How does my brother even presume to ask the court that question?
Late last month, Judge Michael Silverstein ordered the release of documents from the 38 Studios lawsuit. During the hearing, Silverstein admonished attorneys for bickering with each other during their arguments.
Stop. Now you may address the facts.
Don't you love it when adults get yelled at like that? Very edgy situation. Here's the bottom line. We're going to find out a lot more about this 38 Studios case, we hope, through depositions in a week or so. I think it will inspire, not deflate the calls for hearings from the General Assembly and a stepped-up state police and attorney general investigation. And by the way, the governor promised an investigation herself in a campaign. Seems so long ago. PC Parties, WPR.com reports that the ACLU is saying you can't do this to students in Providence or landlords. There's a proposal, because the city's fit to be tied with the parties, to limit the number of kids that actually can be in a house. Watch this.
Providence City Council will decide if single-family homes in the city are allowed to have more than 3 college students living inside.
Creating problems.
Landlord Bob D'Amico is outraged.
I could rent to five gang members. I could rent to 5 drug dealers. I can't rent to 5 straight-A Providence College students, simply because they're students.
The ordinance is in response to many parties all across the Providence College and Rhode Island College area on streets with single-family homes. The ACLU says instead of discriminating against students, the city should enforce current noise and party ordinances.
College students who are having parties, who are unaccountable for those parties, are going to continue to have those parties.
Oh, listen, this is it's a tough one. The ACLU makes a great point. Truth of the matter is though 5 straight-A college students can be worse than 5 criminals. We all know that, unless you never went to college. And we've seen enough bonfires and problems and bottles in the streets and the noise and all that kind of stuff to prove it. I think the local colleges need to have an ordinance filed against their behalf. I think the city ought to think about fining the colleges for this kind of behavior, figure out the legal way to get that done. If there's a punitive damage to the colleges financially, they'll find a way to get these kids to behave one way or the other. 195 lights, so Bakari II, Mr., has a brand new proposal. Here's the headline, the 195 land. It's nice to be talking about something other than the baseball stadium controversy. It's a 7-story mixed use of office space and retail and apartments. And I was thinking, while this one sits on the east side of the river, meaning toward Fox Point, they may get hit with a ball. Let's go to the map. Well, Victory Place is out because the hospital bought that. The proposed site, which my guests coming up are going to say, no good, no good. But, if you do hit a long fly ball to right field over the river, maybe you drill the new 7-story building. I don't know. We'll see. Looks like that one's going to go in. Has nothing to do with the stadium. And this is just getting crazy. As a former referee and umpire and all that, in the old days it used to be tough. Now it's just getting more ridiculous.
This was Zeke Cardena's last move on the field when St. Anthony took on Austin Hyde Park Saturday. The video shows him shoving the referee after a second penalty. The senior has been kicked off the football team and suspended for 3 days from school during the investigation. This heated moment came just a week after 2 John Jay High School football players were seen tackling a referee.
The tempo is a lot faster and a lot intense than it used to be.
Hit the referee. Suspensions. You hit a ref, you're done for the year, if not your career. Why is that so hard for everybody to understand? Your peace of mind is important. So is your state of mind. I know, Laura. I was going to definitely catch myself. Laura, who was yawning before we started, just jumped ugly with me. Sharp as a whip, says Jess. Your state of mind is important to us. 228-1886. Send us a voicemail every once in a while, like this lady did.
Avedisian couldn't find another place for the Winslow ball field, but he puts them right next to an airport with planes taking off within feet of these kids playing. But yet, he has the room to put a big Paw Sox stadium. He's out of his mind.
Okay, everybody doesn't like something. You know, it's an alternative. I bet you the Fox Point people like the War Sox better than that woman does. We'll find out when we come back. Stay with us. So the beat goes on, and the slow death of the Paw Sox Stadium idea in Providence seems to be ongoing. Here is Patty Doyle, spokesperson for the Paw Sox, who is keeping her chin up.
We still remain very enthusiastic and excited about the possibility of reaching a renegotiated agreement with the state. And I think, you know, rather than speculate on that and what will happen if it doesn't work out, we really just want to keep focused on what we can make happen.
Here's a headline in the Eastside Monthly. The FP&A, that would be the Fox Point Neighborhood Association, if you're keeping score. No. No thank you to the stadium. And two gentlemen who've been key in that argument are Sam Bell to my left, who's the chair of the Stop the Stadium deal, and John Russo, the executive secretary of the Neighborhood Association. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. My liberal friend over here. Are you also a liberal? No? So
middle of the road.
You're middle of the road? Yes. You know, I don't think political ideology actually has a lot to do with this particular story. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
In fact, people from all spectrums have been actually fighting this thing.
Rhode Islanders from all political walks of life, vast majority of people oppose this deal because it really speaks to what a lot of people feel is broken about political culture in Rhode Island.
Which is?
This is a deal that you have some wealthy businessmen who are asking for a large amount of public money. And they're not trying to sell the public on its merits. They're trying to get it done because they know the right people. They can pick up the right phone. They can buy the right politicians, the right drinks, and the right bars. And that's what people don't like about how politics works in Rhode Island. And this issue really speaks to that.
Let me show, in case anybody's been sleeping under a rock somewhere, a couple of the pictures and sites. Here's the Paw Sox proposal site we just showed you during our rundown. The Victory Place is out. I mean, I kept putting that up because I thought it might be a better spot, but the hospital bought it, and so that's all done. The proposed site still lingers as this, who knows. What else do we have there, Laura, in terms of pictures that I wanted to show? Oh, this is kind of neat. In fact, you guys brought this picture as a reminder. This is the footbridge that would come from Fox Point to the stadium. I thought that was pretty neat. So, John, the neighborhood didn't think there would be a good walk in the park, down to the park?
Well, we like the bridge that connects two parks on each side of the river. The old highway has sort of cut the city in half. So we like the idea of the bridge creating a central park for Providence that all neighborhoods can use. We just don't like the idea of a stadium being thrown up there that blocks the view of the river and serves such a small portion of the population compared to a park which can be attended by people from all neighborhoods, all walks of life. They can go there and walk, play, there can be events there. It's something that really adds to the city, and it kind of honors the maritime history better than a stadium.
So tell me about the process that the Neighborhood Association took on to make a proclamation that no-go.
Well, we just voted. Basically, simple, yes.
Is it a big group?
We have probably about 350 members and a board that's pretty active. You know, we've been going to meetings, public meetings, providing input on the two parks and on the pedestrian bridge. They had a huge search for the design of the pedestrian bridge. We were told it was completely funded. You know, we had this is what we've been working with the planning department and RIDOT to have developed for many years. So that's what we want. We want a central park for the city.
Well, it's interesting because the federal perspective on this from the Highway Administration, we have now confirmed that we have learned. I always knew it, but now it was confirmed in the last couple of weeks. They're like, whoa, wait a second. You know, that land has a specific value in the financial transactions. If it goes to a commercial use for a stadium, then guess what? You owe somebody $4 million plus. So that adds to the till, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's not working out too
Yeah,
good.
they said back in '97 we didn't have enough green space in Providence, so having a major park was something they insisted on.
And this is crucial. We aren't just saying no to the stadium. We're saying yes to the park, to a vision of a central park for all of Providence, for all of Rhode Island, sitting on this beautiful stretch of waterfront for everyone to enjoy for free. And it's important that we have a positive vision for what we want that land to be used for. We're not just saying no to the stadium, we're also saying yes to the park.
Right, but you guys aren't letting any grass grow under your feet, park or not. When you hear what they've been doing, the politics of this, and where they've been making their arguments. Stay with us.
I think the city that is more upset about this than Pawtucket is Providence. They don't want it. I've knocked on doors in Providence. I've been to Lippert Park collecting signatures. I've been to the Armory collecting signatures, and plenty of other people have been on Hope Street and I think Wickenden collecting signatures, just in Providence.
That was David Norton, who is from Pawtucket, who began the protest of folks leaving, of the stadium being left empty, McCoy. And so he's been fighting it from that end. Sam and John are fighting it from the Fox Point and Providence end. And I think he's done a pretty good job in making a point. And this discussion of, you wouldn't believe how upset people are. Perhaps you've found that they're upset in other places too. You sneaky son of a gun. You went to the House Speaker's neighborhoods and started busting his horns there?
We went and we canvassed in,
is that guerrilla politics
in House Speaker Mattiello's district. And I think it's important because the way we're trying to win this is by letting the voice of the people come through. By having folks in Mattiello's district let him know how they really feel about this deal, really helps him know just how important it is for him to respect the will of the people, because you really have to emphasize what people really feel.
So what were you doing? You were just letting people, you were asking them to contact the speaker? What were you doing?
We went door to door talking to folks. We have postcards that people fill out, and then we send them in to the speaker. And people, I can't tell you how angry people are, because people all across Rhode Island and in the speaker's district as well, it's no different, are angry about the way politics is done in this state.
You agree?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we've been going with this plan for a park, and all of a sudden somebody in left field says, no, we want to put a stadium there. I mean, they've already spent over $1 million with landscaping plans for the bridge and the parks, and we've, you know, been assured it's going to happen. It's a better plan. You know, it serves more people.
You know what's interesting is that here you are banging the speaker in his own neighborhood. There have been pockets of protest here, and the ongoing conversation is about, as you so eloquently made the argument in the first segment, about, you know, big executives with access and wanting to use the public's money. The truth is that deal was shot down, and there's still a deal that's been discussed behind the scenes, and we don't know what it is. And so, you know, what a booted opportunity for the public officials. The governor, who I know is lukewarm and would veto it tomorrow, but the House Speaker, who really wanted this thing, you hit him in his backyard, to come out and have another public discussion about a much cheaper version for the public. It might win the day, but they just keep handing you the momentum with no public disclosure to just pile on and scream about it. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you exactly why they haven't come out with the terms of the New Deal. Because it puts them in a very difficult position. The party line has been, I refuse to take a position until the terms of the New Deal come out. And even that's what the Speaker himself has been saying. Initially, before we started canvassing his district, before we started putting pressure on the House of Representatives, he was going to have a special session, then he backed off that. Then he said that he was undecided on the deal until he saw the terms of the New Deal, and then he came out and he said that it might not even happen. But the thing is, if they ever put out the terms of the New Deal, every legislator who has told their constituents that the reason I'm not giving my position is because I haven't heard the terms of the New Deal is going to have to take a position.
Well, so what?
It puts them in a very difficult position.
What? Because they have to have an opinion?
They're caught between the Speaker, whom they are afraid of and whom they don't want to anger, and what the people actually think. I would love to have legislation done based off what the people think.
Sure,
but that's not how it works.
I think your analysis is an interesting one. Transparency and candor, I think, ought to rule the day. If you have that kind of philosophy, you shouldn't be afraid of what the new numbers might be.
They went on listening tours all over the state. They never
didn't listen to anybody.
Yeah, didn't listen.
They had one in your neighborhood, right?
Oh no, they didn't have any.
Oh, you didn't have one in your neighborhood?
No.
They listened everywhere else except the place next door where the bridge was going to go.
Right.
But
knew
now,
we didn't want
now they are listening. We've even heard talk, as the governor's chief of staff mentioned just the other day on Newsmakers, that they want them to take a fresh look at Pawtucket. And I think that's going to have to be where this ends up.
Well, Mayor Grebian, we have a piece from his last visit in May. He was fighting, wasn't he? You got to be planning what your out plan is, yet you're still fighting.
Right.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what do you think your chances are of saving this deal?
No, I mean, it's probably 1 or 2.
But worth fighting for.
Absolutely, no, it's worth fighting for.
It'd be ironic if this thing did come back to Pawtucket. The ego and the business model of urban ballpark for the new ownership might preclude that. You never know, though.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't really care. Just get it the heck out of my neighborhood.
We do
want our
care.
Central Park.
We want your Central Park.
Want the Central Park, and I think we'd prefer to have it stay in Pawtucket. And to be honest, the Paw Sox owners are business people. They care about what's best for them. They have a really good deal right now in Pawtucket. People often forget about it.
Well, what about down?
They're not going to get a deal like that anywhere else.
What about Jefferson Boulevard? Roll this one.
We've looked at, small stadiums with 10,000 seats and what can work. And we think we have...
Yeah, but you're not a city. You're the second largest city in the state, but you're not a city.
But we do have an airport and you do have a train station. So when they talk about needing those transportation hubs and links, we already have them. And they're the only place you're going to find them in Rhode Island. So we said, we should at least advocate for our city and throw out some options that might work.
All right, so what do you feel about work? You wouldn't, as a taxpayer, not as the Fox Point guy.
Well, I don't think we should pay for it. I don't think we should have to contribute a whole lot to it. But it's better than where they wanted to put us in our neighborhood.
Yeah. And I don't think he's serious. I mean, one of the things that as a Democrat I have admired about Abedition is he's been skeptical about public money for private development. I don't see him offering them anywhere near as generous a deal as what they have right now in Pawtucket. And I don't think they'd leave Pawtucket for anything less generous than what they have right now.
Man, I'll tell you, Paw Sox ownership, can you come on by and let us know what you're thinking? Because every show you seem just to get pounded, not just here, in every media place everywhere, and even in the neighborhoods. Guys, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you
coming
so
by.
much.
We'll stay tuned. One more thought. Stay with us. Alrighty, I don't know how these Paw Sox management guys think they're growing the public sentiment while they're getting beat up in just about every place, but they're always welcome to come here and tell us what's newly on their mind. We'll see you at noon tomorrow until 3 on WPR Radio, where we'll talk about this and more. Of course, there's a GOP presidential debate that we might be previewing as well. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.